In the year 480 BCE, the ancient world witnessed one of the most legendary battles of all time, the Battle of Thermopylae. It was here, in a narrow mountain pass, that King Leonidas of Sparta and his 300 warriors made their courageous last stand against the mighty Persian Empire led by King Xerxes. This is the story of bravery, strategy, and ultimate sacrifice, a tale that echoes through the ages. To understand the significance of the Battle of Thermopylae, we must first look at the Persian Empire and its ambitions. By the 5th century BC, Persia was the largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from modern-day Turkey to India. Under King Darius I, it had already begun its attempts to conquer Greece, but his campaign was thwarted at the Battle of Marathon. In 490 BCE, this defeat was a humiliation for Persia, and it planted the seeds for a much larger conflict under his successor, King Xerxes. Xerxes was determined to succeed where his father had failed. To achieve this, he amassed one of the most formidable armies in history. Ancient sources like Herodotus claim the Persian forces numbered over 2 million, though modern historians estimate the figure to be closer to 200,000 soldiers. Even at this reduced estimate, it was still an overwhelming force compared to the fragmented Greek city-states. Xerxes also assembled a massive navy to support his land campaign, ensuring no Greek city could escape by sea. The Persian army was diverse, comprising soldiers from across the vast empire, archers from Persia, cavalry from Central Asia, and the elite immortals, a fearsome unit of 10,000 highly trained warriors. This multicultural force reflected the vastness of Xerxes' domain and the resources at his disposal. For Greece, the threat was existential. If Xerxes succeeded, Greek independence would be extinguished, and the cultural achievements of the city-state's philosophy, art, and democracy might have been erased under Persian rule. Faced with this daunting reality, the Greek city-states had to act. However, unity among the Greeks was far from guaranteed. The city-states were fiercely independent, often engaging in bitter rivalries and wars against one another. Athens and Sparta, the two most powerful city-states, had vastly different cultures and priorities. Athens, a naval power, prized democracy and intellectual pursuits. Sparta, on the other hand, was a militaristic society that valued discipline, honor, and warfare above all else. Despite their differences, the looming Persian invasion forced these rivals to come together. In a series of councils, the Greek leaders debated their strategy. They knew they were outnumbered, so they needed a battlefield where they could neutralize the Persian advantage. After much deliberation, they chose Thermopylae, a narrow mountain pass that would funnel the Persian forces and prevent them from overwhelming the Greeks with sheer numbers. Thus, the stage was set. The Greeks had their battlefield, and the Persian juggernaut was on the march. At the heart of this resistance was Leonidas, king of Sparta, who would lead a small force against the largest army of his time. The fate of Greece and the course of Western civilization hung in the balance. Leonidas, the warrior king of Sparta, understood the gravity of the situation. When the Persian army marched southward, the Greek leaders decided that the narrow pass of Thermopylae, or the Hot Gates, would be their best chance to delay Xerxes. This narrow strip of land would neutralize the Persian advantage in numbers. Leonidas handpicked 300 of his best warriors, not for their skill alone, but because they had sons to carry on their family names. Accompanied by around 7,000 allied Greek soldiers, they marched to Thermopylae, knowing that survival was unlikely. For Leonidas, this was not just a military campaign. It was a stand for freedom and Greek unity. When Xerxes' army arrived at Thermopylae, he sent emissaries to demand that the Greeks lay down their arms. Leonidas' response was both defiant and unforgettable: "Molem lebe," or "come and take them." The battle commenced, and the narrow pass became a killing ground. The disciplined Spartan phalanx formation proved devastating. The Persians, accustomed to fighting on open plains, struggled to breach the wall of shields and spears. Day after day, the Greeks repelled wave after wave of Persian attacks, inflicting heavy casualties. For 2 days, the Greek forces held their ground, but their success would not last. A Greek trader named Ephialtes revealed a hidden mountain path to Xerxes. This path would allow the Persians to outflank the Greek defenders. Upon learning of the betrayal, Leonidas faced a grim choice: retreat and risk the disintegration of Greek, resistance or stay and fight to the death, buying time for the rest of Greece to prepare for war. Leonidas chose the latter, knowing that his sacrifice could inspire his people. On the 3rd day, the Persian army surrounded the Greeks. Leonidas dismissed the majority of his allies, leaving only the 300 Spartans, a few hundred Thespians, and a handful of Thebans to face the enemy. Outnumbered and exhausted, the Spartans fought with unmatched ferocity, holding their ground until the last man fell. Leonidas himself was slain in the chaos, but the Spartans continued to fight over his body. Refusing to let the Persians take it, their stand became the stuff of legend, a testament to their valor and dedication to their homeland. Though the Persians technically won the Battle of Thermopylae, their victory came at a steep price. The Greeks had inflicted significant casualties on Xerxes' massive army, exposing its vulnerabilities. For the Persians, this was no glorious conquest. It was a bloody struggle against an enemy that refused to yield. The sacrifice at Thermopylae had a profound and immediate impact on the Greek city-states. News of Leonidas' bravery spread like wildfire, igniting a sense of unity among the often fractured Greek polis. Previously, many city-states had been reluctant to cooperate, mired in political rivalries. But the valor of the 300 Spartans became a rallying cry, inspiring Greeks to put aside their differences in the face of a common enemy. Strategically, the delay caused by the stand at Thermopylae allowed the Greeks to prepare for the battles to come. The naval forces under the command of Themistocles regrouped and fortified their position at Salamis, a narrow strait where the Persians' numerical advantage would once again be neutralized. Later that year, the Greeks lured the Persian navy into a trap at the Battle of Salamis. Using smaller, more maneuverable ships, the Greeks devastated Xerxes' fleet, sinking hundreds of Persian vessels. Without a dominant navy, Xerxes faced logistical nightmares, making it difficult to supply his massive army in hostile territory. Fearing that he could lose his empire's heartland while away, Xerxes retreated to Asia, leaving a smaller force under Mardonius to continue the campaign. The following year, in 479 BCE, Greek forces achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of Plataea. The Spartans, leading a coalition of Greek city-states, crushed the remaining Persian army, effectively ending the invasion. On the same day, the Greek navy secured another victory at the Battle of Mycale, driving the Persians out of the Aegean Sea. The legacy of Thermopylae lived on long after the war. It became a symbol of resistance against tyranny and a testament to the power of courage and sacrifice. For the Greeks, it proved that their hoplite warriors and democratic ideals could stand against the might of the Persian Empire. The story of Leonidas and his 300 was immortalized in poetry, art, and oral traditions, inspiring generations to come. Even in modern times, the Battle of Thermopylae remains a powerful metaphor for standing against overwhelming odds. It is a lesson in unity, resilience, and the enduring human spirit, a reminder that even in defeat, there can be victory. Through their sacrifice, Leonidas and his warriors ensured that Greece would survive to become a beacon of culture, philosophy, and democracy, shaping the course of Western civilization. Thermopylae was not the end. It was the beginning of a legacy that would endure for millennia. The Battle of Thermopylae remains one of history's most iconic clashes, celebrated in art, literature, and film. It is a story of courage in the face of impossible odds, a reminder that even the mightiest armies can be challenged by those who fight for freedom. This was the story of Leonidas and his 300 a tale of sacrifice, unity, and the unyielding human spirit. Let their legacy remind us that some battles are worth fighting, even when victory seems impossible. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic tales from history. Let us know in the comments what historic event you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, stay curious.